under the direction of legendary player and first-year head coach Gary Gait, in town to face the second-ranked and two-time defending national champion, the Virginia Cavaliers. Hi, everybody. Chris Cotter here, live at Klockner alongside our own two living legends, Paul Carcaterra and Quint Kestif. And Carc, it's great to be here live at Klockner and to see these two rivals begin ACC play.
Well, look, for me, this has always been the best early season game in college lacrosse. They played 38 times, 17 times decided by one goal. This game will be lit.
I tell you, I'm just thrilled to be with the hand talker and Cotter in person here live. The excitement, you can feel it. Eager to watch the Syracuse, their new regime, and thrilled to watch Connor Schellenberger. You talk about a guy who ran roughshod through the NCAA tournament last year. He had 6 goals in the quarters, 4 assists in this game against North Carolina in the semifinals, and then he put up 4 in the national title game. How does he do it? Well, he's got a little bit of everything. The vision, the passing, the ability to pull out the best in his teammates by delivering strikes on the money and making everyone else's job really easy. When you double team him, he'll beat you with a pass. When he draws single coverage, man, he's a tough cover. He's got that great change of direction, the acceleration, and the mid-range shot. Connor Schellenberger is only a sophomore, and he's perhaps the best player in the nation.
A school record 24 points and winning most outstanding player in the postseason last year. Speaking of points, Carc, Tucker Dordevic for Syracuse is scoring a lot of them to start this year.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask what positionless offensive lacrosse looks like. Well, enter Tucker Dordevic. 23 for the Orange. He was a midfielder prior to this season. Now he's playing attack, and the transition has been seamless due to his unpredictable dodging patterns. He can go from behind. He can beat you on the wing. He can go up top. He's carried this offense with a dangerous plant foot. His change of direction is silly. He has the power and speed combination, and quite frankly, I don't know if Virginia has that guy to match up with Tucker Dordevic.
10 goals through 2 games. As you can see, he has been on fire. And one of the interesting stories in this game, too, we talk about guys who are going to score goals. How about players who are going to prevent goals from being scored? Bobby Gavin, who's in goal for Syracuse to start the year, he just transferred in 3 months ago from Virginia. He was poised to be the starting goaltender for Virginia. So Bobby Gavin is going to be somebody to keep an eye on, and also somebody to keep an eye on too, as we work through a little bit of a delay here as we try and fix our shot clock. Got a little bit of a delay there, but the face-off X, we didn't talk about it yet, guys, but Carc, this is a huge story in this game because last year the 2 Syracuse wins, Jacob Fopp, who's still going to take draws against that man right there, number 23, Petey LaSalla. He owned LaSalla. And
it was a total outlier in the 2 matchups because LaSalla dominated ACC play. Fopp struggled in ACC play, but when these two went head-to-head, pure domination by Fopp.
Face-offs will determine possession, obviously, and momentum in this game. You turn to Petey LaSalla, and Lars Tiffany telling us that he spent a lot of time in the offseason working on his counters.
Right.
This is a young man who's so used to dominating the draw that he had no answers when he lost the draw to Fopp. He's worked on some counter moves.
There's Petey LaSalla, All-American on the right for Virginia, and Jacob Fopp. They have met each other a number of times over the years, and as we mentioned last year, LaSalla just 12 of 46 in the 2 games against Syracuse. Big battle to start this game. Big ground ball in the middle of the field. Won by Syracuse. And Fopp picked up the ground ball. Now we'll get a chance to see the Orange and Gary Gates' offense, along with offensive coordinator Pat March.
Never in a regular season game was I so eager to see the first face-off because of that storyline we just described, right? Yeah. I think for Petey LaSalla, he cannot get into a slump early in this first quarter at the face-off X.
Well, he won the draw. He lost the scramble for it as Fopp dove to prevent the scoop.
Dordevic back to his right, double teamed quickly by Virginia. Now he gets rid of it. That's Brendan Curry, one of the team captains, number 16. His dad, a big-time player here at Syracuse. Dordevic firing with his left. Good save. Matthew Nunes with a good save, and here comes Virginia. Soliday off to Matt Morrow, scores!
The Wahoo Blues love to run off the defensive stop. It's Chismar back to Soliday. It's a 5-on-4 break. Matt Moore back in the lineup. Righty rip top shelf.
Battling a hamstring injury, but we were at practice yesterday, and I was watching him from that spot, and it did not look, for 1 second, did he have any type of issue in terms of planting his feet and letting it rip, and that is a gorgeous shot.
Fopp rolls it back. Big ground ball won by Danny Parker.
I'll tell you, Cotter, watching practice yesterday, the one thing that stood out, we watched both teams, brief practices. I thought Virginia's speed jumped off the field at me.
Yeah.
Guys like Soliday, like Chismar, like Evan Zinn, zero, the ability to go from defense to offense.
And intense, too. When you talk about a Friday practice early on in the year, they were practicing hard. Schellenberger off Kennedy's noggin, and that'll go way up off out of play.
And they want to run. And you saw them late in 2021 when they won the national title. The defensive midfielders had the green light from going from defense to offense. You saw that on that first goal by Matt Moore. They're athletic, they're fast, and they're strong.
Schellenberger up top. Save that time. Another rebound chance and a score. Cormier in his spot, right in front of the crease and just picking up the loose change and burying it.
Schellenberger is going to get his looks, and you cannot allow Virginia to get rebounds, especially when 24 and white is around the face-off or the crease area. He crashes the crease. He's a Canadian box player. He's got the softest hands on the team, Peyton Cormier. Look at that. Look at that catch, the one-handed grab, the awareness to understand where the defensive pressure is high. He shoots that low.
I'll tell you, this crowd comes to their feet. It's a nice crowd here at Klockner today. And for the first time this year, I'm seeing Virginia playing with an emotional fire.
The loose ball push here against Fopp and Syracuse. Ball back to Virginia.
And this is what Petey needed, right? A couple face-off wins and the Cavaliers getting up and down. I want to see the emotions from Bobby Gavin as well, because he is a Virginia lacrosse player up until about a couple months ago, right? Was battling for that starting position, transfers to Syracuse. For this semester, he's playing against his ex-teammates. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of things going through the Syracuse goalie's head right now, Quint.
Well, Griffin shuts downhill with a full head of steam. Couldn't quite hook up with his teammate, Jack Simmons, and it's a turnover.
Chris Cotter, we saw a similar scenario last week with Caton Johnson, former North Carolina goalie, now playing for Ohio State. It brought out the best in Caton as the Buckeyes got the big win.
And Gavin with a big save there on Schellenberger, too, Q. How important is that right off in the game, even though he gave up the rebound and a goal, to make that save?
Well, I'm a big believer in making that first stop and getting a touch on the ball, clear. And in hockey, they often talk about, you know, the goalie to get a puck touch once the game starts. And I think you settle down, whether it's a save or maybe a hit out of the goal. The first one is the hardest one.
Second midfield unit now on for Syracuse. I say second midfield unit, though, although Gary Gate likes to have sort of an amoeba kind of offense, doesn't he? Positionless. Guys can play both behind the net, can play up top. Here's a shot. Going up to make the save is Nunes.
Yeah, Nunes was all over that. The one thing that I saw in those first couple possessions, too, specifically the first one, Virginia is going to dare Tucker Dordevic to be a passer. In those first two games, he's been so electric as a Dodger.
Evan Zinn shoots wide. Evan Zinn, the transfer, coming into Virginia from Hopkins. Sort of a two-way player there. Has continued that role here for Lars Tiffany, number 0.
Major weapon in transition.
Yeah, he's the fastest player on the field, I think, hands down. If you watch Zinn, when he gets running in the middle of the field, he is at a different level.
Here he is, trying to put a shoulder in the defender, can't knock him off the ball. Instead, it's going to be a turnover. Now back to Virginia, though, in an unsettled situation. Cavaliers are going to get a good look and a goal. And it's the defensive midfielder, the veteran Jack Peel, graduate student who stayed on the field. And it was a good thing for the Cavs as he found himself in a great opportunity to score.
Virginia likes to ride, Quint. They're never going to make it easy for Syracuse. Syracuse blows an opportunity in terms of stopping the Cavaliers and getting out of their zone, and look what happens.
It was great initial defense, but the faulty clear, and then you're scrambling defensively, and Peel has got a good burst. He gets down that left-handed alley. That's just a nightmare scenario for Syracuse, who made the initial stop.
Yeah, they did all the hard work, and this is scary because in the first 3 games when you watch Virginia play, slow starts. Now this looks like a different Cavalier team in terms of going for the jugular.
And here's Petey the Salad, wins it to himself. And retains possession.
And Cuse fell behind 5-0. Cormier's got it 24. Cuse fell behind in the Dome last week 5-0. But I think the emotion of that day against Maryland allowed them to find themselves. I worry about that on the road.
Well, here's a tough clear. They get it back to Gavin, who made the save. Now an opportunity maybe for Syracuse to get some early offense. A lot of players back behind the play for Virginia.
So here's the matchup we're going to be looking at here. Tucker Dordevic, the best player for Syracuse, 23 in orange against Cole Kastner. I thought Cade Sawstead would probably get that matchup. It looks like Kastner right now, 39 in white, 6'7" against Dordevic.
There's Dordevic right now. The slide comes. That's Jackson Birtwistle, tried the shot, but it didn't get to Cade. Nice pass and a nice save by Nunes.
That was a beautiful pass by Tucker Dordevic. Mikey Berkman on the backside, 3 in orange. He needs to step up and increase his angle when he catches that.
Berkman, the redshirt sophomore from Florida, taking over for Owen Hiltz. He's got a shoulder injury. He's still out. The sophomore for Syracuse. Curry.
See how quickly Virginia's double teaming 23 and 16. Curry and Dordevic. Quick doubles.
Curry had a shorty on him. Got it to Birtwistle, who's low shot. Stopped by Nunes. Nunes is sharp to start this game for Virginia. 4 saves.
Big hits.
You would expect that here in this game. Syracuse comes out of there with a loose ball. Doug Dordevic is up top. He'll get it. Rolls back to his right. Shoots. Ball ping-pongs around behind the goal and stays in play.
Nunes is a star in the making. He's the #1 ranked goalie recruit in the freshman class. What separates him from the pack? Athletic ability. He's got unique movement skills.
And Curry just throws this one away on the backside.
You know what I love about this goalie matchup, too? Nunes is from Houston, Texas. Bobby Gavin from San Diego, California, right? If you were to rewind this type of rivalry 20 years ago, you would never get 2 goalies from those areas.
Gavin, growing up, had to decide whether he was a better lacrosse player or surfer.
That one's easy for me, man. I'm not getting in the water with sharks.
Texas has had a little goalie pipeline. Luke Milliken, starting in Jacksonville. Colby Knies, former Penn State, and our favorite, and Etherly Claggett's favorite, Dan Morris, former Maryland goalie.
There you go. 2017 national champ for the Terps.
All Texans.
Loose ball in front. Murphy was able to pick it up initially, but again, a second time here, a hard time clearing the ball. This was a Syracuse team that struggled with clears mightily last year, and that's been a big focus coming into this year.
And that's a recipe for disaster. You're making some stops, but you can't clear the ball.
Shot goes wide of the cage. Xander Dixon giving chase, and he'll keep possession for Virginia. In lacrosse, if a shot goes out of bounds, whoever is closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds retains possession or gains possession against the defense.
Look at this beast. Griffin Schutz, only a freshman, 26 in white.
He scores!
Oh my gosh. He's a Mack truck.
Tommy, a lot of Moy draped all over him.
This is just a display of power.
Do you remember I told you yesterday about Schutz, where he should operate from? Goal line extended because of this. He is too big, he's too strong. The Cavs are rolling.
Guys, highlights.
State of the conveniently located.
Cavaliers, 2-time defending national champs, Cart.
Well, yeah, Yale won in 2018, and they were the bully, beating everyone up in college lacrosse. Well, Virginia punched them in the mouth on that day, late in May 2019. Michael Kraus was amazing. Lars Tiffany with his first national championship, and the roots were established.
Last Memorial Day weekend, rainy in Hartford, New York. It was a Cavaliers offense led by Connor Schellenberger. 17-16, they hold on to take home the title.
Hartford, Connecticut, but I guess that's irrelevant.
I said New York?
Yeah, just geography.
Wow.
It's all good. There's Lars. 7 national championships now for Virginia in the championship era, and Lars putting his name up there with Dom Starja and other legendary coaches.
And if you look at the future, too, at least for the immediate future, you have Connor Schellenberger for 2 more seasons after this.
Absolute dynasty they're building here.
You have Bryce Young basically back for another couple years. He's going to operate the offense, going to put playmakers around him. This team is built for the next 3 years.
You look at their 2 deep, there's very little leaving next year. I mean, Matt Moore is really the only guy. He's a top 5 pick in the Premier Lacrosse League. And other than that, they'll return intact. So the opportunity to win 3, 4, or more titles is very real.
That's the expectation, to be in the hunt playing on the final day in lacrosse.
All right, what does Syracuse have to do offensively now to get back into this thing down 4-0 here early? Nice play by Nudes. He's really playing well.
They have to recruit.
For this possession? Yeah,
they have to recruit.
For this possession? We were talking during the break.
Probably a little late for that.
Yeah, during the break we were talking about, they are sliding so quickly to Tucker Dordovic. I think he needs to be like the initial dodger probing the Virginia defense, but then quick ball movement after. Like he has to get into the hockey assist mode.
Yeah, I would like to see someone else initiate, then Dordovic goes once the defense may be in motion or not perfectly set.
Yeah, the way that you beat
they're teeing off on Dordovic.
Yes, and the way that you beat a Virginia defense, typically in the past, they have the athletes on the perimeter. You can beat them inside off a quick ball movement.
Here's Peter Garno looking to dodge, gets to his left and shoots. Got a good shot. Just high off the top.
Moving pick out top on that screen.
So here's the veteran, Brett Kennedy, number 11 for Syracuse.
Good luck clearing against this ride. It's a 10-man, goalie's out.
Cormier just gave a swat. Kennedy's been around the block a little bit, though. Former LSM, now playing down a close defense. You can see his wheels.
It was a great play, Chris. Great play. Confident, assertive.
Look at that defense. Seabold, though, gets through and scores. How did he get through all those defenders?
If you look at the slide and the help defense from Virginia, they're swinging sticks. They're not bringing body. And when you bring body, you can plant 14 in orange on the floor. But right here, he does a nice job in terms of establishing above goal line. And then they're swinging right there. There's 3 guys there.
That's a well-timed and angled double team. They just don't finish the play, right?
No, but to finish the play, when there's 3 guys there, you got to bring the body there. The stick technology these days is off the charts. If you're swinging at a guy's stick like that, Seabold feels that, dips underneath. That's a great play by him.
Captain Seabold with Syracuse first goal of the day. Another face-off win by Virginia, and great wing play by Danny Parker, who's gone through some injuries in his career here in Charlottesville, but one of the fastest players on the team now, getting close to 100%. And I noticed Lars with these short stick deep minis, he's not afraid to keep him on the field on the offensive end. Moore looking to do it on his own. Well, Cormier just had to come out of his cross. Now he gets it back. Look at him get a shot on goal. And still chasing after the rebound. Leveled by Faulk, but that's going to be a loose ball push from behind against Syracuse.
Cotter, Lars Tiffany, his roots in the coaching game go back to Brown in 2016, I believe, when that went to the championship weekend. It's an up-tempo style. He leaves those short stick defensive midfielders on because if you want to match up and play 5-on-5, good luck. You know, I mean, Connor Schellenberger and Matt Moore in space. So they kind of dictate matchups by keeping those players on the field.
You keep the defensive midfielders on the field, you trap Syracuse's offensive players or their face-off guy.
Which is just what happened. Shot deflected, and Cormier caught that one on the backside. He's limping a little bit out there. Now we're going to get a flag here. And it's going to be a loose ball flag as Tempers flaring a little bit, as you might expect with these two rivals. Peter Buchanan, Jim Blanker, Dan Bennett, our officials today. We'll hear from them first off.
That's my guy, Buchanan. Double talk, two talk, Buchanan.
Your guy, I don't know if that's a compliment for Pete.
Peter 2 times.
I think I had elementary school teachers who were like that.
Well, they probably had to be like that with you. First
Here
time
he goes. Check this out.
Okay, back up. I'll talk to you in a second. What? Orange 48 slash 1 minute. Orange 48 slash 1 minute.
Establishing the call, love it. This is a dangerous Virginia extra man team. And you obviously know you have the 2 quarterbacks behind in Schellenberger 1 and Moore 5. But it's a balanced man advantage unit because you have Cormier, the lefty shooter, and watch Garneau, 33 in white. A lot of times it's a forgotten man. He's been slump a little bit in terms of his shooting, but when he gets going, he has one of the best outside shots in the country, 33 in white.
And 50 Kumar is the man-up specialist for Virginia, right in front. Beautiful save. Kick save by Bobby Gavin. Now Syracuse trying to clear it. Got to get it past that midfield line at the 60-second mark. Cook just gets it there.
Wow.
He gets his stick checked out of his hands, though. Back to the Cavaliers.
It's a feeding frenzy on these clears.
Cormier.
Got numbers. He's got numbers.
Dixon gives up the shot. Extra pass. Moore scores. Beautiful.
Hot potato, selfless lacrosse, Quint.
I'm not sure they sensed that they had the numbers, and all of a sudden you kind of look around and think, hey guys, it's a 4-on-3 and then or a 5-on-4. Watch the passing. Here's the turnover, like piranhas. Ball's on the carpet, off to the races. At the other end, you share the ball. The spacing's gorgeous. This end line view will show it. Tick, tack, toe. Oh no, you want it. Schellenberger, so unselfish.
Schellenberger always makes the right play. You know, I think he's the best player in college lacrosse. A lot of people are debating between Chris Gray and Connor Schellenberger. Chris Gray from Carolina, who's fantastic as well. But Schellenberger, to me, just checks every single box in terms of being a dodger, an outside shooter with both hands, a passer. And you have the ACC, these two guys with Gray and Schellenberger. To me, they define the word selfless lacrosse.
Look at Petey LaSalla here. He shoots it. Can't quite get it past Gavin. They're not afraid to keep LaSalla on the field. The faceoff man for Virginia let him
Petey
get
can
involved in the
score,
offense.
man. Petey has proven to be a shooter and a scorer.
They showed a lot of this look in week 1.
Xander Dixon scores. Man, Virginia is firing on all cylinders right now.
This is gut check time for the Orange defense. They showed a lot of fight. I was really impressed with the way Syracuse played last week at home in the Dome, standing toe-to-toe with Maryland. But their heads are spinning right now, whether it's been transition, extra man, ball watching, and Xander Dixon. I'm so impressed with the improvement that Xander has shown in the last 2 years here at Virginia. He was highly recruited out of the Brunswick school, highly touted, slow start to his college career. He's a primetime player now, Gardner.
Yeah, well, he's acclimated to the midfield position. In high school, he played behind the cage and was a quarterback-type attackman. And now you have Moore and you have Schellenberger. He's found that niche and that role. For Syracuse, last week against Maryland, I was impressed with the effort, too. There was a lot of emotion that day in the Dome. They were honoring Roy Simmons Jr. They were honoring Gary Gate in the Ring of Honor in the Carrier Dome. Their numbers and names will be up there forever. So there was that juice, right? You worried about this matchup. Can they match that intensity every single week?
Mikey Berkman, double team comes on him, puts it on the carpet. Big scramble for the loose ball. Virginia comes out of there with it. Nice long pass. Cole Kastner. Great look.
Got to get it out quick. You got to get it out quick against Virginia. If you allow them to set up in the ride, you're going to see turnover after turnover for Syracuse.
5 saves for Bobby Gavin.
I think he's done well. He's made some nice stops here.
He has. He has. Virginia's double teams on defense have been really, really well timed. And other than the bad execution of the C-ball double,
yep.
I love what I'm seeing here. Look at them stalk this matchup now. They're going early on Dordovic.
Causes the unforced error. Dordovic too. Hand on his knees. 6th turnover for Syracuse.
When we go back to last year, Virginia early on in the season, they weren't playing great team defense. I think this group right now is more advanced than the 21 version at this time in the year.
I agree. Sawstead was coming off an injury. We had no clue who Cole Kastner was. He wasn't starting at that point. He established himself as a force later on in the season. So this is a group now that has the gel, the familiarity in terms of where they're supposed to be, the lingo, the timing of the slides. You see that in this unit for sure.
The freshman Griffin Schutz on a short stick. He'll come upfield, roll back, and score.
He's a problem.
Yeah,
He's a big matchup problem.
Literally a big problem.
We saw him at the Under Armour All-American game. And when you see the size of his neck, you think of him as an ACC linebacker, not an ACC midfielder. The force and the ability to feel the defensive pressure and then to own the leverage game. We've seen this twice now. Griffin Schutz is not a player that you want to put in space. You want him initiating contact like he has in both of these goals. There isn't a short stick in the country that can match him size, speed, and overall leverage.
Unconfirmed reports that Schutz put a bench press in his dorm room here in Virginia.
Your kind of guy, Connor.
Right. Just in case he can't get to the gym. Let's check out our Inside Lacrosse media poll. Maryland has been so impressive, right? I mean, just complete from the jump this season. Virginia, defending national champs, 2-time defending champs. And how about Georgetown, too? A lot of people expected a lot from Georgetown coming into this year. They played really well early.
Swamp Dogs, that is the Hoyas and Notre Dame today. I thought the storyline so far, great to see the Ivy back. And certainly Yale, Penn, potentially Princeton playing Maryland today. They're a serious threat. ACC-wise, I think there's no doubt that there's 3 teams in this conference that can win a national title.
Yeah, Georgetown Notre Dame's today at 1 o'clock on ACC Extra. That is a huge game with national implications. You look at 11 through 20. Quint, you mentioned Princeton. Cornell was impressive against Albany in their first matchup. Army against Cuse Wednesday in the Dome. That's on our ACC network at 4:30. I think that's going to be a big-time matchup. Watch out for Brendan Nickturn. I don't know if Syracuse has a guy who could guard the Army attackman.
Cotter, the Jacksonville Dolphins play Denver this weekend as well. See if Duval Mission and John Galloway, the Syracuse alum, can keep it rolling. They've done magical things so far.
Yeah, their tests continue to get tougher and tougher as the season progresses before they get into SoCon play, but they clearly look like they're going to be there with High Point and Richmond in terms of battling for that.
You know what I love about the SoCon guys is they play the big
They step
dogs.
up, right?
They step up in February. You look at, John Galloway takes his team to Duke and gets the victory. They play Johns Hopkins. High Point and John Torpy always playing teams. Richmond and Dan Shamati. Yes.
Step in the ring, and then you get the glory.
Moore is going to spin, had a shot, and spun out of it.
And how much, Paul, have those teams benefited from those schedules later on in the year? Like High Point fits in the tournament last year because they played basically they're the pseudo 6 ACC team.
And they don't walk into these matchups with like total shock and uncertainty, right? Because every single year they're playing in those games. They know what it's like. So you're going to see a team like Jacksonville beat a Duke.
Saul Asala with another face-off win as we are in the final half minute of this first quarter, a first quarter that has been owned by Virginia. And on the face-off X too, LaSala's won 6 of 9 draws. Big comeback for him after struggling against Thorpe in the 2 games last year that Virginia played and lost against Syracuse. Corey. He comes upfield, gets a better angle and scores.
A player's path and development are never going to be similar to another player's. And Will Corey, the light bulb has gone on. We sat down with Lars Tiffany yesterday, and he said, Coach, why is Corey in the lineup? He says, you know what? He's gotten rid of the distractions. He's been fully focused. This kid has turned the corner. He's gone from an inconsistent, talented player to being consistently talented. You saw that in the fall in their games against Team Canada and Team USA. Welcome to the party,
Yes,
Will Corey.
Yeah, he had a huge goal against Team USA in the fall. The belief started then, and it trickled into the season for 14 in white, and the Cavaliers are rolling, Cotter.
8-1 after one here at Klockner. Big crowd enjoying the festivities and enjoying what they're seeing from their Wahoos. All over Syracuse early.
Someone once told me that the strength to stand alone is the strength to make a stand. To serve a purpose greater than myself. I carry those words with me into the Forbidden West.
Rated T for teen.
After 14 years coaching the women's team at Syracuse, legendary Gary Gait. Q is back, and what a player he was. 3-time All-American, 2-time Player of the Year.
It revolutionized the game, really, in my eyes, in the late 80s with the creative flair. Obviously, the athletic ability. People need to understand, this guy is, 6'2", 6'3". He was 200 pounds, the fastest guy in the field and the most skilled. He transitioned into coaching at the women's game for Cindy Timschult, University of Maryland, eventually becoming the head coach of the Syracuse women's team.
Yep.
And then last June, John Wildhack, the athletic director, naming Gary head coach.
He's had such a huge impact on the men's game, obviously, as a player. And I think he's just given fuel for generations. The Powells were inspired by him, the Thompsons. And you look at the way that the game of lacrosse is played now, it's because of Gary Gait.
There you see Coach Gait. There you see Danny Parker, illegal stick. It'll just be a minute, but that's a costly minute for Virginia. Syracuse now an opportunity to kind of claw their way at least a little bit closer in this game, down 8-1 to start the second.
Yeah, so it's an illegal stick for 1 minute. That means it's pocket. And if it was an alteration of the head or the shaft length, it would have been 3 minutes. So it's a pocket violation there for Parker, 8 and white. Can't play with the bag. Too deep of a pocket, Q.
There's Dordovic. He's been shut down so far today. Came in with 10 goals in Syracuse's first 2 games. Cross pass, and Nunes makes the stop. That was a tough angle shot.
That's the movement skill I'm talking about, the ability to go pipe to pipe. Matt Nunes played defensive midfield up until the sophomore year at the Woodland School in Texas. So this is a guy who could play a shift late into his high school career. He's a great athlete in the movement skills. Again, he's still raw and untested, and he's got some high school, habits that all goaltenders have to get rid of. But the natural movement ability is off the charts.
Yeah, there's a flag down here. Virginia eventually will go in the extra man. 18 shots in that first quarter, man. They were relentless against the Orange defense.
Orange penalty number 1-6, offside. 30 seconds. It wasn't me. He stepped on time.
So that
Syracuse
Parker,
offsides.
the illegal pocket on Parker now is released, that 1 minute penalty. So now it's 6-on-5 for the Cavaliers in this dangerous extra man unit.
Put in play by Xander Dixon. 0 for 1 so far in the day are the Cavs extra man. Schellenberger will look to quarterback, gets it to Dixon, dives into the crease. And we get flags all over the place. Gavin made the save, and then Dixon went sprawling. The officials conferring on the far side.
Yeah, these are the difficult calls now. How did Dixon get in there?
Yeah, he landed in the goal mouth,
Was
obviously.
he pushed? Was it a loose ball push? Was it an unsportsmanlike conduct hit?
Or did he run into the goal?
Or did he run into the goal mouth?
Yeah.
Is it on Dixon? Between face-offs and the goal crease calls, those are the two toughest calls for officials in the
10 over
game.
here, 48 over here. We have simultaneous fouls on the play. We have orange, 48 with the push, 30 seconds. Then we have white, number 10, unsportsmanlike conduct, making contact with the goalie. That's 1 minute, non-releasable. The first 30 seconds of his foul is
See, this one's a little tough on me, right?
There are multiple penalties. They're offsetting.
No free clear, orange ball, goal line extended. Reset to 80, please.
Yeah, so we've got Alexo for the push. You've got Curry in the box for Syracuse, who had the offside call earlier, and then you have Xander Dixon with the unsportsmanlike.
Here's the issue I have. If you're calling a push on 48 and orange, how are you calling 10 for the unsportsmanlike conduct hit, right? How is that possible?
Because he was pushed into the goal mouth by number 48.
Yeah, but they also gave Dixon a penalty.
Correct.
Can't be both. I mean, if you pushed me into the crease, how could that be an unsportsmanlike on me? Unless there was something extracurricular
that there was a
after.
push and you could have avoided going into the goal mouth, but you did anyways. But I'm just guessing.
The entire rule is poorly constructed. We saw that in the Maryland-Syracuse game last week when on a successful inside roll, the defender freight trains and pushes the attacking player into the crease of the goal mouth, and the goal gets wiped off. Okay, the rule incentivizes pushing. It's poorly created.
Now it's a 6-on-5 for Syracuse. As Liam Ferris thought about taking a shot, does not. Ferris picks up the loose change. He'll go back up top to Dordovic.
Noon's got a piece of both those.
Yeah, he's feeling it right now. For me, it's pretty simple. Outside of Tucker Dordovic on this Syracuse offense, who is getting separation from the defense?
Lars Tiffany was able to get a timeout there. He wants to talk things over defensively. But right now, his Cavs up 8-1 over Syracuse early here in the second quarter.
Making friends again, Billy?
I like to keep my enemies close.
Guys, excuse me. I didn't quite get that. I'm hard of hearing.
Oh, hey, don't forget about the tense music, too.
Would you say tense?
I'd say suspenseful.
Aren't they the same thing?
Can we move on, guys? Please.
Alexa, turn on the subtitles and dim the lights. Okay, dimming the lights.
8-1 here in the second. Virginia on top of Syracuse. There's Petey LaSalle. We talked about it in the open, Kark, about how the Syracuse wins last year, 2 of them against this Virginia team, were born on the face-off X, and Fobb's dominance on LaSalle. It was the only game that LaSalle really had trouble with, and the only face-off guy he had trouble with. Not so much today. He's won 7 of 10.
He's been a mainstay in the 2 national titles for the Cavaliers. I love his low center of gravity. He was a big-time high school football player. Today, he's shown me mentally how tough he is. When you spend time with him, when you spend time with his dad, you know the type of characters they are, Quinn.
Well, the true greatness at the college and pro level come from guys who not only have talent, but they have the ability to make adjustments.
Yes.
And we've seen Petey go back to work this summer in terms of getting stronger, but working on his counter game. That is, when he doesn't win the initial clamp, does he have any answers? We spent some time with his dad, a former New York City police officer, and
tough
you
as
could
nails,
see,
great man.
You can see Petey in the dad,
yes,
and how bought in that he is to being the best in his craft.
Skip pass and a beauty and a goal. Just as the clock was winding down on that man-up situation, Owen Seabold gets his second of the game, and Syracuse inches their way a little closer.
That was nice, Kark.
It was. There's 2 ways that you can get some offense rolling here. One is the one-on-one dodges and getting the separation. The other is finding seams with skip passes against this Virginia defense. This is a gorgeous pass by Lucas Quinn. A little bit of a look away. He gets the defense kind of to shift lower. Seabold is on the high right wing and finding that seam, and that's a gorgeous shot. If you watch Owen Seabold, when he sets his feet, that's his strength.
going to get LaSalle here on the hole. They are. It'll be Syracuse ball.
Cotter confirmed through Petey's dad the squat rack had 550, 5 and change on it. Somewhere in mid-fives.
Amazing.
500.
Never saw a squat rack he didn't like. I'll tell you what, LaSalle, too, he talked about his football career. You can see it. He had 43 touchdowns as a running back in high school. When he wins the draw to himself out forward, he's on his horse going right to the goal.
Yeah, you know what you love about LaSalle? Weight room in the basement. And then you got Griffin Schutz trying to bring a bench into his dorm room. Cotter, you got to love LaSalle and Schutz.
The floor couldn't even hold
like
all the plates that Schutz would want to have in the dorm room. Nunes gets a piece of that one, too. It'll stay with Syracuse.
Cotter respects anyone. You get bar bendage, squat rack bar bendage when they're shaking and rattling.
Have you lifted with
the
him?
bar going
Clanging and banging.
Ding, ding.
It's clanging and banging.
It is not a social event when you lift with Chris Cotter. It is game on, right? He's not even going to talk to you or look at you in the weight room.
We're there to get work done. Oh, goal. Nunes went out to play defense outside of the crease, Q, and you were known to do that as a player, but it comes back to bite him.
Decisions. What you could get away with at the high school level, suddenly at the college level, things move a lot faster. Here he is helping in the hung man situation, okay? And number one, a lot of times I don't like the way that's being executed. I mean, that's just, it's obviously not going to work. There's no reason for the goalie in that scenario to go back and play that man.
When they break down the tape, if they ask him what was he thinking, what is his response there?
Well, again, he's new. He's a freshman, and he's going to say, well, I thought you wanted me to flush and help out in that scenario.
2 goals in 57 seconds for Syracuse, and just try. You can't, score a 6-goal goal. You're going to have to get one at a time, clawing their way back. Now, off the face-off, it's yet another win for the Virginia Cavaliers as wing play is coming into play as well. Not just LaSalle, they're picking up ground balls in the middle of the field.
Xander Dixon offers flexibility. He's a slash, attack, slash midfield.
Here he comes. Finds an open man. It's another goal for the Cavs. It's Peyton Cormier.
I tell you, Dixon, twinkle toes, man. He's so light on his feet.
He is. And when you watch him in high school, which I was able to do from the Brunswick School in Connecticut, about a half hour from where I am, he played attack. He was a quarterback, operated behind the cage. You get a guy with that experience now going against short sticks in his comfort zone. And what I love about that move is Syracuse was playing him as a Dodger. They were going to send help, right? So all the eyeballs were on 10 and white. He knew that was happening. He took that role, took a step back, and you find the money man in Cormier who does not miss from that spot.
Connor, I think we got to give a lot of credit to offensive coordinator Sean Kerwin, okay? How many times today have we talked about guys winning matchups? He's putting the guys in favorable matchup spots, whether it's Schutz or whether it's Xander Dixon. Sean Kerwin typically is an offensive coordinator. He keeps things generally simple, but he really understands how his strengths attack the opponent's defense and weaknesses.
And that's a great point. And I think he understands his personnel too, right?
Correct.
So Schutz is dodging to score, right? Because he has the leverage in the big body matchup. Dixon, he knows that if he inverts him, there's going to be a quick slide. He's away from the goal. You play him, and you let him be the passer there.
That's right. And Cormier is always the threat inside, and you got some step-down midfield shooters up top.
Simmons was one of them, had a full head of steam. Now goes back to his left, and Gavin with a nice stop. Can Syracuse clear it? They cannot. Stays with Simmons in Virginia.
That's been the Achilles heel for Cuse. They've actually made some stops in this first half, but not successfully in terms of putting them into possessions offensively. And against this team with this offensive talent, it's not a recipe for success.
Dixon working on the shorty, but gets it inside again to Cormier.
Watch his head the entire time he's dodging. Watch 10 and white. When you see him operating, He understands where pressure is. He understands where his teammates are finding the seams. Just watch his head as he dodges.
There's no second slide here, or the second slide is late, and the coverage on the inside is late. But my point is, why are you double teaming Xander Dixon right there? He is not a threat to score a goal. That is the prime example of how a bad slide creates offense. Dixon tiptoes his way in there, draws the double, gets it off to the big man.
6'2", 230, Canadian for Cormier. Hockey, football in high school, clearly at 6'2", 230. That's in his wheelhouse.
Yes, and Quinn, to your point, you are creating offense when you're sliding to a player, right, who is not beat. And you're sliding from a guy who's money in the bank.
Who's the biggest threat on the field. You left the biggest threat on the field, the most dangerous player, to go cover Xander Dixon, who wasn't even looking at the goal. I mean, think about that in macro terms.
Third face-off violation against Faw. So 37 will sit in the box for 30 seconds now. Each additional face-off violation between here and the end of the half will result in a 30-second penalty against Syracuse.
Overzealous slides are an epidemic in lacrosse right now.
Creates offense when there is no offense, right? You're playing good one-on-one defense there.
Virginia 1 for 2 man up so far today. Schellenberger now up top to Garno. He's got a big shot. So does this guy, Kumar, 50. Moore, that's a tough angle. He almost got it there.
As this game progresses, with Jeff Connor out, right, with an injury, you want to see some of the midfielders, right? Garno, guys like him, 33 in white, stepping up.
Ooh, almost had a shot there. He had it in mind, but couldn't get the pass. He'll keep possession, but Tommy comes out to now make it even strength. Dixon checked by Fraderigo, number 25 for Syracuse. Nick Fraderigo, he's the transfer from Lemoyne, won a national title, Division II national title in Lemoyne. Out there with Kennedy also with the long stick. Picked off. Nice anticipation by Jerry Stotts.
Stotts has a lot of box lacrosse background. Great stick skills, plays on the man-down defense, picking off passes like that.
Delayed flag. This may be an offside situation.
Kennedy's done a nice job in the clearing game, 11 in orange. Veteran defender, future pro player, Premier Lacrosse League.
Yeah,
carrying with confidence, isn't he?
Yeah, the biggest question moving him to close defense is you take some of that clearing ability away from him as a long stick midfielder roaming the middle of the field.
Dordovic hit the pipe. He just cannot get it to go so far today. Big battle at the midfield line. Now we'll get a whistle and we'll finally get the call on this flag. You can hear Syracuse offensive coordinator Pat March wants an explanation.
Flag
Why
down.
did we blow the whistle? What?
Not sure why we had a whistle.
Orange was offsides. That's what killed the play. We have a flag down. Hey, what number? 34, right? 5. Here we go. White, number 5, slash 1 minute. White 5, slash 1 minute. Hey.
So they blew the whistle because Syracuse was ruled offsides at that moment. The late call on the flag was an offside against Matt Moore.
Right side of your screen here. There's the slash. One hand on the stick.
Tomahawk.
Matt Moore getting a little aggressive.
Getting your call almost every time. So Syracuse man up. Ferris, quick pass. Shot just a little bit wide. Lucas Quinn can't find the target, and it stays with Syracuse, but close.
Yeah, it was close. I thought Soliday, 32 in white, might have been closest to the ball when it went out of bounds.
Get your protractor out.
That's above our pay grade. Dordovic thought about it. Nope. Skip to the far side. And Nunes.
Safe. That was a nice one, Quinn.
I love the way he attacked that. He ended up at the top of his crease. It's a mid-range shot, but like a hockey goalie, he gets off his end line and was super aggressive there, and that time it paid off.
8 saves for Nunes.
Woodlands, Texas, north of Houston. Matt Nunes loves to jump rope. He's a big juggler.
He likes to jump rope and he juggles.
Goalies are different.
No, not at the same time. And he's a big believer in wall ball, as I am.
That's it. Man, there's Gavin was there to stop Moore. That was a blast. Good camera angle on that. 9 saves, 2 for Gavin. Both goaltenders have played pretty well, even though Gavin's just been under assault all game long. Hey, Army at Syracuse. That's going to be a good one, by the way Army has started this year. A lot is expected from them, even though they've got an L on the ledger already. It's a fun game to watch. They went on Syracuse last year.
You know, Brendan Nickturn doesn't get on TV enough.
He's awesome.
Black Knight.
Oh, look at that shot by Schellenberger. You couldn't walk up to that goal and place it any better.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No.
You talk about painting a corner.
What doesn't he do? I mean, you watch him, he's the ultimate quarterback with 2 hands, his ability to get teammates involved and run an offense. But you also forget about what he's able to do with both hands. This is his right hand. His offhand is equally as effective. You cannot ask for better placement. He absolutely tags that corner.
Kirk, the release speed from cradle to shot.
No wasted time.
How do young players develop that speed to beat goalies to punches like that?
You train in your backyard with either a brother or sister who could throw balls. If a mom or dad never played the game before, they just throw the balls to you, not even with a lacrosse stick. And it's catch and pop in one motion, right? You don't want to have to catch and then bring the stick back, right? To make that release elongated. You want to catch and pop, and he has that. He has that in his hips. He catches it, and he torques his hips and releases in the same motion.
Defensive mistake there. Let Griffin Cook come up unchecked, and he gets the better of Nunes.
I think Cook is an important part of the Syracuse offensive piece this season because Dordovic and Curry, they need reinforcements. They need help. I love the subtle head and shoulder fake there. He's baiting Nunes as if to say, I'm going to shoot high, and he yanked it at the last minute. Good deception on the finish.
Yes, he was a starting attackman a couple seasons ago. Moved to the midfield, coming out of high school to Janesville to win, a big-time recruit. Everyone thought he might be the next version of a Kevin Rice quarterback. If you talk to coaches in practice, he's been really, really good. They're waiting for him to pop in terms of being a mainstay on the offense and supporting guys like Dordovic.
Quality play by Scott Bauer. After Falk won the face-off, Bauer back-checked, got possession back to Virginia. Zinn. So now that's what he can do. He brings speed in the middle of the field, and he can stay on the offensive end and score goals.
That's a human clear. Just give him the ball and watch him run.
Garno now working on Dami. Schellenberger. Kennedy on him. That's a good matchup to keep an eye on. Dami comes away with it in the middle of the field. Got players open on the far side. Gets it to Dordovic now. We'll look for substitutions.
It's a nice job by Kennedy marking up against Schellenberger on that last possession. Dealt with a little kind of a face dodge back to a roll, and he was there. He sat down well. 11 in orange.
Curry's been quiet, 16 in orange. One of the faster players on the team.
Where do you want to see him initiate from, Paul? Where do you think he's most comfortable carrying?
Here's Curry right here.
I think up top off of ball movement. That's a beautiful pass.
That's a beautiful play. Lucas Quinn finishes.
Well, there's Curry from X with the assist.
when you talk about
different
Dixon,
times in his career, they've started him behind the goal and have him run up the right side. We've seen him run down the right hash. Here he is, carries through X, and he's got the ability. Quinn does a good job of moving to mirror his movement, puts a lot of pressure on his defender.
I agree. When you watch Curry over the years, in the invert game, he's a passer, right? You asked me about his dodging. He's a speed dodger, so you got to get him high above the restraining box to start that dodge. You want it off a ball movement where he's actually catching it and running in stride to attack a defender, because it's really hard to match feet with Curry because of his speed. You watch guys like Schutz like to play the body. He's the opposite. He's a space dodger.
Sal has won 11 out of 16 faceoffs in this game for Virginia. Flipping the script from the 2 games last year he went up against Falk. Virginia opting to keep a long pole in the game. What a catch! Oh, and an equally good save. That was an amazing catch by Scott Bauer right on the goal mouth. Virginia not done, though. Oh, the high pass, though, will doom this possession. Man, Bauer made a great catch and shot.
That was.
But a great save
stick.
by Gavin, too. 10 saves for Gavin.
Orange bench. Hashtag head, heart, and hustle. Their benches come to life. They've played much better over the last 5 or so minutes here as a team.
Let's look at Bauer's shot again when we get a chance. But Kennedy making a run, and we'll get a timeout.
And actually, it's an offside.
Oh, it's an offside, yeah.
Watch the hands.
No timeout. Syracuse was guilty of offsides. Here's more. Shovels that one wide. Here's
there
Bauer.
we go.
We found some hands.
Oh, yeah. Look
Long
at that
pole
catch.
inside. Look at that catch to the offside hip. He handcuffed him pretty good, didn't he?
He did. Relaxed, loose upper body. I always tell younger players, you want to be like Gumby, right? A lot of the young guys don't know who Gumby is.
Who's
right?
Gumby, Clark?
I'm Gumby, damn it.
You remember Gumby, right?
Yeah.
The green
Gumby
little
and
plastic
Pokin.
guy? You got to be like Gumby. You want
I
to
know
be loose
Gumby.
up top.
These kids don't know Gumby.
Hands soft.
Unless there's a Gumby
Flexible.
emoji.
Final 2 minutes of this first half. Syracuse is just scratching and clawing to hang in there. Sebald has got 2 already. Dordovic. Here's Curry behind. Now Berkman. Quinn. Just trying to probe this Virginia defense, looking for a weakness. Berkman's got the short stick on him, up top to Curry. He'll fire with the left. And a beautiful play to get possession back to Virginia.
That's the second time Soliday, 32 and white, has dove for the ball. I thought the prior time he did it, it should have been Virginia ball. He was closest to the ball when it went out of bounds on a shot. That time they reward him for that hustle. Big time play by Soliday.
Now final minute of this first half. Simmons gets the ball in the box. Virginia calls timeout to set things up. As we see Gary Gate, premier attackman in college lacrosse in his day. Connor Schellenberger could be the premier attackman in this day, and certainly Lars Tiffany has had the benefit of having him now for a couple of years, and will have him for a couple of more years.
The biggest thing for me is his understanding the game and what's coming at him. Take what is given. He's going to the goal if there's only one man defending him. And if heads are turned and people are sliding to him, he's feeding the ball. So it's amazing when you're that elite of a player and to be that unselfish. That's not easy to do.
played well today, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been awesome. I think the biggest knock on him is sometimes he's too unselfish, right? You look at his toolkit, and he has everything. His ability to pass and make that extra pass, getting teammates involved. Head is always up. The anticipation of where his teammates are. And then when he wants to do it himself, he crushes corners.
First team All-American as a redshirt freshman. Proud son of Scott and Stephanie. Scott, the great golfer from Marshall.
That pass, you know, to Xander Dixon kind of reminded me, we talked about this with Chris Gray earlier. He's like Gretzky-esque.
Yes.
He sees the play open up before it opens up.
Yeah, diagnostic ability to see a defense, to see player movement and project, to know that I need to throw the ball like a quarterback in football, like the look-away pass that was thrown in the Super Bowl on that last drive. The other thing about Shelley is, like, I'm not seeing careless turnovers or forced
His
plays.
plus-minus is crazy.
Gosh,
Plus-minus is crazy. So's Chris Gray. That's what separates
the
those
playmaking
guys.
ability in relationship to the turnovers. It's incredible, incredibly productive.
Relaxing with P. Kark is back. And we'll hear from P. Kark and Lars at halftime.
Good to see relaxing back, Kark.
Relaxing.
Yeah, it's like year 6 or 7. Stop counting.
Oh, you lost track?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's more. Goal line extended. Just muscles his way into a good angle. Still 10 seconds left in this first half.
With more, I'd be slow with his dodges. Coming off a hammy, I don't know how aggressive I would get with 5 and white.
In front, Cormier just couldn't handle it. Kennedy picks up the loose change, fires a shot. That'll count if it goes, and it doesn't. The Cavaliers wasted no time this afternoon inside Klockner. Got a great crowd here on hand. They gave him a show. 7 different goal scorers. Built a big lead. Schellenberger, beautiful.
Paint the corner, Shelley.
Syracuse hanging around, though. Griffin Cook with the goal, 11-5 at the half. To 5, they've enjoyed what they've seen so far. The number 2 team in the country, Virginia, with a lead over Syracuse at the break. Chris Cotter alongside Quinn Kesnick, Paul Carcaterra with you. And this has been a show for the superstars for Virginia, the established offensive stars, and a young star in goal.
Well, for me, Quint, it's all about stylistically what they're doing on the field. They look like the 2021 national championship version of Virginia in terms of what they're doing in the middle of the field and making those plays.
It all started for Virginia with Schellenberger and Moore in the transition game. I thought they ran really well D to O. You see the unselfishness, the sharing of the pill, the sharing of the rock, moving it, and then they're creating some matchups on offense and getting some good movement off ball. You know, Cormier and Dixon, I thought showed their mettle, and that shot, a thing of beauty. I mean, that is the definition of liquid smoke to an upper shelf.
The one question you had heading into the season was the goaltending ability. Alex Rode and his 2 national championships are gone. Matt Nunes is a freshman from Texas. We saw him in the High Point game late in the second half kind of grow up and take ownership of that game. He was fantastic in the first half. And I think if you're a Cavalier fan, you have to love what you have in the cage moving forward with the young man.
Somebody else who was fantastic in that first half is Petey LaSalle, face-off man, the All-American. He won 17, or Virginia won 17, won 11, 12 of 17 draws. I'll get my math right eventually. 12 of 17 draws, so really taking control at the face-off dot. And just as I say that, violation right off the opening whistle.
The announcer Jinx works for face-offs.
Crushed him. Sorry, Petey. Now, what can Syracuse do to really get back into this game? They scratched and clawed their way to stay within 5 or 6 throughout much of that first half.
I think Griffin Cook showed you some dodging in the second quarter. 2 and Orange has the ball right now. He's got to be aggressive. Who are the other Dodgers outside of Tucker Dordevic? Brendan Curry, I think, needs to establish himself as a force, 16 and Orange. It can't be just Tucker Dordevic and people waiting for separation.
And just like that, Tucker Dordevic finds the back of the net. That gets the bench going for Syracuse and gets them back to within 5.
those are critical goals to start a quarter like that. You go into halftime. Cuse played a good last 5 minutes of the second quarter, and it continues here. Go back early. They shot 1 of 10 to start this game. They're now shooting 5 of their last 10, creeping closer.
The 2 players in the country with time and room with both hands, to me, at an elite level, Connor Schellenberger and Tucker Dordevic. Dordevic's a righty. You saw him spraying that with the left hand.
Fopp wins the draw. Got to be a big part of the formula for Syracuse in the second half. Fopp needs to get back even.
This identity of the Syracuse team last week, awful scrappy, man. They fought. That was a really hard-fought game in the Dome against Maryland. You're seeing that same attitude again today.
And a goal!
This could be the game. This could be the game where Cook gets the confidence, and the Orange desperately need that to happen. Owen Hiltz, he might be done for the season. The sensational sophomore from Canada, leading scorer a year ago. You need someone to step up to be the complementary force for Dordevic and Curry. And Cook in the first half with a beautiful invert goal. That time, he just uses the defense as a screen. Nunes has no shot.
Fopp's winning face-offs. The defender just slipped. He lost his traction on his approach out to Cook. Cook said, hey, you know, you're going to give me this kind of range, I'm going to rip one.
4 straight goals for the Orange. Now they trail by 4.
For a player, it's all about confidence. And when you talk to people around the program, they tell you about Griffin Cook in practice. We haven't seen it in a game of this magnitude, him kind of being assertive, and we're seeing it now. From the second quarter into the third quarter, 2 and Orange is now feeling a sense of urgency that he has to be one of the guys.
Cook has 2 of those 4 goals to get the Orange feeling like they're back into this thing. Simmons, he's shifty.
See what adjustments
downhill.
Adjustments Syracuse would make defensively.
Moore, bouncer, Gavin is there.
Don't love that shot, that's a force.
And it gives Syracuse an opportunity to get a good clear and fast break opportunity. Carter Rice, number 12, pulls it back out. He'll look to substitute out, and he does. Mass substitutions for both teams. Cook along the right side. Now he'll invert. Comes up on Peel. In front to Dordevic. He'll shoot. Just misses.
Yeah, you saw the lefty goal that he had moments ago. That's his right hand. He's gassing both of those well over 90 miles per hour, 23 in Orange.
Quinn had sauced it, hung up a little bit. Here's Curry. Got his hands open, that bounced around, hit a player in front. Syracuse wins the race to the inside line.
You saw the speed of Curry moments ago.
That's a good look, but a full head of steam, and Curry was knocked off his line, and it's a turnover.
This is trouble now. There could be numbers.
Peel.
What the fuck?
Moore opts to wait for help in the form of Griffin Schutz, number 26, the freshman.
You know, if I'm Syracuse defensively in the second half, I am slow to slide. I think the ball movement of Virginia kind of crushed them. They those premature slides in the second quarter, I thought that opened things up for Virginia. The only guy that I'm sliding early to is probably 26 and 1.
I was going to say, Griffin Schutz is the only one who really scored an unassisted power goal.
Here he is. Brett Barlow checking him. Cormier, look at him muscle inside. Couldn't get a shot off, though, and a loose ball. Still loose. Moore giving chase, trying to avoid the official. Kept in bounds, but Syracuse players bumbling and stumbling, and it's Schellenberger who ends up with it. Moore, bouncer.
Always dangerous to save the ball in your defensive end of the field.
Like in basketball, saving it underneath your own basket. Never do that. Schellenberger. Two-man game with Dixon in front. Beautiful pass and a goal. Shuts on the receiving end of a beautiful dish.
There's an unspoken communication and a sense of timing that exists on this play that you know has been repped, you know has been felt out before in practice, but when you watch it on game, you're like, wow, how'd they just do that? Schutz knew when to cut.
Yep. And Schellenberger has the sixth sense to time that. That pass was gorgeous. Look at the finish, too, on the twister in front of his head. He takes the head of his stick across his body to kind of simulate like it'd be a lefty angle shot, right? He cannot change his hands at that moment. So what he does is he puts it across his face to increase his angle. But that is Connor Schellenberger, right? Like the sixth sense and the understanding of this guy is going to cut. Before he actually did, that ball was in movement.
Big battle in the middle of the field here for the loose ball. Syracuse wanted a hold. I think they're going to get it. They will. And they'll get possession. Check it. It was Virginia. Syracuse guilty of the hold.
In games like this, though, you see a stop by Syracuse and the inability to get it out of their defensive zone. You just know you cannot give this Virginia team multiple opportunities against a defense that you're asking to play a lot of minutes.
Will Corey now, he has his defender hung up. Swim dodge. Nice job defensively by Carter Rice. But Corey got through. But he's in the crease.
It's good D by Rice to force him down to a severe angle. Bobby Gavin holds the post. That's well done. You think about giving up shots, that's not a bad shot to give up. Low angle, well covered.
Oh, we'll get a late call against Virginia here. Thought we had a player wrapped up.
Yeah, there was a penalty on Virginia, but then Syracuse was offside, so they blew the whistle.
Offside. White 24, hold, technical 30. White, hold 30 seconds.
Hold going against Peyton Cormier on the ride. Take a look at it here.
Look at how many times we're going to see riding attackmen with one hand off their stick commit a foul. Okay, if you're a youth player, if you're a high school player, two hands on your stick when you're riding.
Yeah, nothing really good happens with one hand on your stick.
Syracuse man up for 30 seconds. Really tough angle. Hughes was there high out of bounds.
Go off his helmet. He got caught cheating there. He was going down, the shot was going up. He was lucky to get something in front of it.
Got a piece of it, stoinked right off the helmet. Dordovic on the near side. It's a cutter, too high, or even strength.
Great defense inside by Grayson Soliday, 32 in white. And you can win a lot of games. You think about the hidden plays that Soliday makes.
Wow. Big shot. And a goal from Lucas Quinn. All right, back to 4 goals, the disadvantage.
Paul, we've seen this scenario the last 2 weeks already this season. At the end of a man-up opportunity, the defense kind of relaxes for a second. The penalty is not killed till everyone's matched up and settled in your 6-on-6.
I always say you have about 5 or 6 extra seconds, but watch the release of Lucas Quinn. A lot like Connor Schellenberger's goal in the second quarter. It's catch and shoot in one motion. Lucas Quinn is a two-handed midfielder who can spray. He had 3 goals against Maryland a week ago. He is the best, probably, outside shooter on this Syracuse team. He's been banged up. He had a lower body injury. monster recruit. When you think about Lucas Quinn coming out of high school, he's a bigger recruit than Dordovic and Curry in the same class.
Do you remember at the Under Armour game when
Yes.
I said, who's this kid with, who's this guy Lucas Quinn? He's tearing it up at the Under Armour practice.
Here's Quinn from Cook. Let's not forget, Virginia was up 8-1 at one point in time in this game. It's now a 4-goal lead for the Cavaliers. Bergman.
I think when you watch this Syracuse team, you can question, do they have the playmakers to make a run? One thing you cannot question about this team early in the season, the heart. This team has heart,
Absolutely.
man. This team has fight.
Just their attitude yesterday in dealing with a delayed flight, a late arrival here in Charlottesville. They're just kind of mowing through it like, no big deal, we got this. Practicing in polo shirts and sweatpants.
Curry with the bouncer. Now they trail by just 3 goals.
Now they've swung the possession advantage and they've made adjustments on offense. Virginia's D early in this game was having a lot of success in the double teams. Syracuse spacing, passing, and shooting dramatically improved, and now the Orange. Otto celebrates, back in the ball game. Down 3 here at Klockner.
Design and innovative technology, you want Mazda. And when you want a seamless, hassle-free purchase, you want North Penn Mazda. Experience our brand new state-of-the-art dealership with unparalleled customer service. Or complete the entire process online with North Penn Express. Plus, every purchase comes with a North Penn Advantage, conveniently located 2 miles north of Montgomery Mall on Route 309 in Colmar, PA. We're closer than you think. Or shop northpennmazda.com.
Virginia won the national title last year, but 2 of their 4 losses were to these Syracuse Orange, and the face-off X was a big part of the story.
Yeah, Jacob Fopp dominated Petey LaSalla and Tucker Dordovic. We see him in the second half stretching the defense a year ago. That's Owen Hiltz. The Orange don't have him this year, but they throttled Virginia not once but twice. This game was close at the end of the game, but the Orange dominated both matchups in the first 3 quarters. Virginia didn't have the gas to cut that run. But this is a Virginia team that's had incredible success in May, winning the last 2 national championships. But Syracuse is the team that's been able to figure them out consistently. And I'm looking at this matchup today. 2 things I think will define the rest of this game. The two-handedness of Syracuse. After Owen Hiltz was injured, he was a predominantly lefty finisher and a great passer on the high left wing. Every single guy on this team right now is two-handed. They're hard to scout in terms of their offensive tendencies. And the other thing is, can they get the ball out when they stop Virginia initially? And they haven't been able to do that today.
Loose ball hold on the face-off X, and that's been even. It was 3-3 before that hold in this second half. And that's been a big part of the story. Possessions. Syracuse has the ball a little bit more on their half of the field, and it's paying dividends. But now we'll see that quickness of Xander Dixon. Gets a step on Olodamaye. Loses it initially, but gets it back. Here comes the double. Dixon's in trouble there right from the start. Murph picks up the loose ball.
Trouble now.
Max Rosa, he'll shoot. And, oh boy, pinged it. It was a rocket.
Yeah, that was gas. He's a tough kid, 10 in orange.
Tell you, Cuse has done such a marvelous job turning what was an 8-1 deficit into a real game here. The defense on the corner, standing up to Dixon, transition. Crazy to think. It's like we're watching a new team.
Cook just trying to work a little bit of magic, but loses it inside.
That's a stinger.
Yeah,
oh, that's a stinger.
BTB
Everything's going your way,
yeah,
you know? Everything's going your way.
Successful clear by the Cavs. Soliday had a little bit of room. Simmons, he's got a lot of room, and scores!
It's 12-9. You have an opportunity to cut it to 2, and I am the biggest advocate of the behind-the-back pass and shot, but there's a time and place for it. And when you look at Griffin Cook in that mental mistake in terms of throwing that BTB, it's the second chance opportunities. When you give life to a team that's this talented, it's going to come back and haunt you.
Simmons, the lefty hammer. I love the way Virginia sniffs out those transitional opportunities. They're not going to wait for you to get organized on defense. If they have an opportunity, they seamlessly transition into O.
Lasala quickly putting it into play after the violation. Cormier opting to wait for Schutz and Simmons to sub in. Here's Simmons, he's feeling it against Rice. Uses the pick, Rice slides by. Rice loses his footing, so Simmons will get a look and score! And he paid the price for it. But the lead back up to 5 for the Cavaliers.
Oh, baby, this one's going to be a social media buzz one.
It will. And if you watch Simmons, what he does so well, watch how close he is to the crease on the initial dodge, so then Rice has to deal with the back iron of the cage.
I tell you, the one thing, Simmons is a left-hander. And so you got to be thinking that in your mind, that he's going to come back to his left. And so you kind of want to trail him on that.
That's a good point. You flush him up the right side.
It was a good effort from Carter Rice. He's a freshman. You know, that's why they talk about scouting. And you really got to know the strong hand of all the players you're guarding.
2 goals in 30 seconds for the Cavaliers to extend that lead back to 5.
Karkin, that's a scenario as a goalie where I always try to help out, especially the younger guys who may not be that engrossed in the scouting report. But, hey, Cotter, he's a righty. Kark's a righty. He's a righty. Just to make sure that, Chris, you know that Paul's a righty. Because there has been confusion in that regard occasionally.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think when you're an inverting midfielder or you're an attackman, the closer you can get to the back of the crease,
you're
dealing with the iron
when
there.
the net is strung tight.
Yes, good point.
Cuse making the save. My understanding was that Kark was ambidextrous in his playing days at Syracuse.
Well, look, the guy to my right has ripped me for years being all righty, but I have a clip that shows him breaking me down in college as a lefty shooter.
A clip, right? Of all the thousands of hours of video footage of Syracuse in the mid and late 90s, we have a clip of Kark using his left.
No, it's a clip of him breaking me down as a lefty shooter.
Oh, okay.
You actually scored left-handed.
Yes.
Yes.
He's
you guys have been tough
like
on me
Mike
this
Tyson.
weekend, man. We're back in person, and geez, I can't catch a break.
90 goals at Yorktown your senior year, and you said 2 were left-handed?
Well, you're that dominant one-handed. Why do you have to switch?
Please.
Curry. He's looking to use his right. Back up top. 17 to shoot. Oh, pings it off the pipe, but this might be an opportunity. I thought Dordovic might take it right there. Reset the shot clock to 60. A tough feed inside to Cook. Loose ball.
Nice grounder by Chismar. We haven't talked about him much.
Sandhill shoot and score! Is that not a quintessential Evanston goal? On the run, speed, and he beats Gavin.
Punt return, Quinn. Give it to your fastest athlete. Let him punt return it.
Keep it simple. Look at the defensive ground ball here. Noah Chismar dealing with pressure, secures the ball, understands that Evan's the fastest man in college lacrosse, and he's off to the races.
That's beautiful. How about Chismar with the dirty ground ball, though, right? And to make that play, that's an attackman in high school who comes to Virginia on his own, gets in academically, and now he's starting as a freshman as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, he was a verbal to Marquette. I met Noah Chismore. I tutored his older brother, Billy, who's a goalie at Colby. But Noah was in the middle school, and he used to back up the cage and feed me. He's like 11 years old. Hard to believe that he's now a defensive midfielder for Virginia.
Shuts out of the box. But Syracuse did an equally nice job shutting him down. 9 different goal scorers today for Virginia. So the Stars have come to the fore on the offensive end, but they've gotten a lot of other contributions.
That goal felt like the answer. That goal took some
air out of Syracuse's sails a little bit here. Schellenberger could take a lot more, and he does. And a flag late. See, that's 4 in a row for Syracuse after, 4 in a row for Virginia rather, after Syracuse really started putting them to the fire here in the second half.
Some range from Schellenberger here, Clark. He's out in 2-point range.
Well, you know, as a rookie freshman a year ago, he started off playing midfield, and there's nowhere in the offensive zone he can't operate to make plays. And it looked like Gavin went down swinging there, caught a little bit of that shot by Shelley, but he's just got a little bit of everything in his game. I honestly think that he potentially could even make a run at the next Team USA with the tryouts this year, and most of those guys being PLL players and seasoned pros. He's the type of guy that if you bring him on that team, you know that he could play any role. He could play any role. His game is limitless.
Virginia will be man up too after a push. At the end of that play, Moore will look to capitalize, and Gavin makes the stop. Alexo is trying to outrun the entire Virginia team and does a nice job. Now Curry. What can Syracuse do? They had this thing where they were right back in it, and then really a mistake on their defensive end, and that's all Virginia needed to go on a run. Syracuse looking to kill this man down and then keep possession on the offensive end.
Cuse will keep battling. That's going to be their identity this year. You saw it last week in the Dome, 7,800 fans. What a great scene it was. They never back down. Same today. Another great crowd. They're in hostile territory. They're not done yet.
Back to even strength. We're gonna get in. No, we're gonna push. Yeah, loose ball push.
You know, I look at this Syracuse team, and I think with the ACC gauntlet, they're going to have to play with this kind of energy, this kind of heart. And you watch them practice, and Coach Petramala's influence on this team, I think it's a great marriage with Coach Gary Gate, who's an innovator and someone who can look at big picture and see where the program is headed. But for Coach Petramala, his influence right now on this program, playing with them with intensity, it's necessary, it's welcomed, and I think he's done a fantastic job defensively, holding them accountable. You see the 16 goals. They put a lot of pressure on this Syracuse defense, but they're doing little things better than they have in the past.
Duke stands tall, 10 saves for the young goaltender for the Cavaliers.
Really aggressive on his line there. Watch it here on that buddy pass. There's a certain yin and yang about Gary and Petra. There's a complementary personality piece.
Well, you would know. I mean, you played with
both. Played with Dave for 3 years, and I ended up playing with Gary for 2. Similar athletically, but very different leadership styles. Very different ways they interact with people.
Yeah, I think Gary reminds me a lot of the coach I played for and he played for, and Roy Simmons Jr., where he allows a long leash for his players, right? And allows them to be creative, to be expressive.
Oh my goodness. Double team came, Schellenberger lost it. Cormier back into Schellenberger's cross, and he was like, look what I found right on the doorstep.
This team is just too skilled. If you give them second opportunities.
There's been a lot of those.
Yeah.
Look, you make a great defensive play.
The hands, the skill, the awareness. We talked about defensively how this team is getting comfortable playing together, or offensively as well, too. And when you put Cormier in the middle of this offense, good things will happen because he's going to pick up some loose trash. He's going to make teams pay when they slide early to guys like Connor Schellenberger. He's just a lacrosse player, 24 in white.
3-3 for Schellenberger. LaSalla, like that running back. Oh, and he scores!
Oh, he got crushed.
And the flag comes out, and now we're getting some pushing and shoving right around LaSalla, who, be careful, he's still on his knees.
He was vulnerable after taking this shot, Cotter, and he took one to the head and neck area.
He's as tough as they come. A battler. This is a guy coming into this game knew that the one player that had his number a season ago was Jacob Fopp from Syracuse. That has not been the case today. And a good reason why Virginia has an 8-goal game lead is because of P.D. LaSalla.
And now we get another flag in midfield as our official Peter Buchanan was going to come and make the call.
11, you're coming too. Let's go. Hey, 40, do me a favor. Come back over for it. Yes, sir. Thank you. We have a dead ball foul on each team. Orange, 48, cross check, 1 minute. White, number 11, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, so 1 minute full time. All will be full time. All will be full time. It's going to be orange ball. Orange ball. Orange ball. Orange ball.
So Syracuse gets possession after the goal from LaSalla. They dump LaSalla, so a 1 minute penalty against Syracuse, and then Kate Sawstead said something.
There's the hit. A clear foul, and it could have been more than 1 minute, honestly. This is a player's falling and he's vulnerable, and watch, that's in the flow of action. It just ends up being high.
I don't think there was malicious.
I don't think, no, I agree with you, Paul. But a lot of coaching lessons going on. As the player's in the box, the other one chirps something at him.
And you ask, why does Syracuse have the ball after LaSalla was injured? It's because Sawstead, on a dead ball foul, got the penalty. He was the last player to get the penalty.
There's a lot going on in that.
There's a lot.
Look at Coach Petro going after Sam. Sawstead's in the doghouse with
Sam was
Lars.
staring down Sawstead in the box as the final horn sounds in what was an eventful third quarter, especially the way it ended up. And if you weren't aware, these two ACC rivals, not a whole lot of love lost between them. Right now, it's 18-9 heading to the fourth, Virginia. Up 9, and Connor Schellenberger, 3 goals and 3 assists on the day so far. He is our player spotlight, brought to you by New York Life.
Yeah, he's been spectacular in terms of distributing the ball, the sixth sense to know where teammates are, whether it's Xander Dixon or Griffin Schutz. You want to make a play on his own? Well, he can do it. Connor Schellenberger is a jack of all trades, master of all.
3 of 5 shooting on the day. New York Life player spotlight. Connor Schellenberger. It won't be the last time. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time this year. Connor Schellenberger is our New York Life player spotlight. Now
you know where New York is, right, Quint? I know geography was a little bit of an issue earlier in the broadcast.
Geography is one of my strong suits, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
LaSalla's had a strong suit when he draws today, and he got robbed by Gavin there. Almost had his second goal in a row. Good to see him back in there, though, after getting dumped in the final minute of that third quarter. Moore getting possession.
All day, baby.
Both teams now with a man down, so it's 5-on-5 for the first minute of this fourth quarter. He had 2 penalties. Both serve full time. Simmons Tried to roll back, but had a tough angle. It'll stay with Virginia. Final 10 seconds of both penalties. Shuts wide. Virginia stays with it, retains possession. 15 seconds to shoot, and we're at full strength. Moore scores.
Senior Matt Moore taking the extra step to greatness. You know, Matt Moore and Syracuse's Brett Kennedy, like really the only two seniors on the field in this game today. Matt Moore, I would expect him to be a top 5 Premier Lacrosse League draft choice. PLLtickets.com. It's your bio blast. Garnet Valley, coached by the legend Frank Urso.
You know, we talked earlier in the game about Tucker Dordevic kind of being positionless, right? Connor Schellenberger and Matt Moore, that same kind of breath, right? When you think about Matt Moore and his career, 2019 they win the national title. He's a 40-40 player for Virginia in terms of his versatility and what he does with the ball, but also his vision. I mean, we're talking so much about Connor Schellenberger,
no, I know,
and Matt Moore is an all-time great. Like, he's had an unbelievable career, and it's kind of crazy that, like, we don't talk about him at that kind of that same type of level, right?
You're going to need 2 elite, 1 cover guys to deal with this Virginia attack unit.
And who has that?
And nobody has that. Georgetown's got Will Bowen. Maryland's got Brett Makar. Duke's got Kenny Brower. Like,
Georgetown might be the team because Gibson Smith has played some top guys in the past as well. But I hear you. I mean, it's crazy in terms of the riches that Virginia has at the attack with those 2 guys.
Notre Dame's got Arden Cohen.
Curry's shot can't get through. And Curry did a heck of a job to beat Sawston to the ball to keep possession of Syracuse. Now they'll look to move quickly. Good shot is not even close. How about the way they've played together, though, when you talk about Schellenberger and Moore? Because Schellenberger was, when he first started playing in his redshirt freshman year, and that's a goal by Syracuse on the far end. Mikey Berkman scoring.
It's such a nice idea by Dordevic, isn't it? Kind of fake the jump shot and then the feed backside. Now the pass goes awry here and he kind of catches a break, but the look is next level.
I would agree with you. And Dordevic's one of those seasoned guys. He's a 5th-year junior, so he'll be back next year with the top recruiting class in the country. So the Orange are moving in a direction in the future with Gary Gayton recruiting, but still having a guy like Dordevic who's been a spectacular player. But I think going back to what you were saying about Moore and Schellenberger, I think it takes an unselfish superstar at a younger age like a Connor Schellenberger to play the way he plays, to not disrupt the offense. Because if Connor Schellenberger was this fantastic kind of dodger and a guy who's a goal scorer first, it could have created more tension, I think, in terms of the chemistry between Moore and Schellenberger. But Schellenberger is so selfless in terms of the way he plays that I think that partnership has developed the right way.
He wants to win, right? I mean, I think it's the coach's job to teach, but this program's about winning. Like, they don't really care about stats around here. I don't think the Tuarton is big on their topic list either. But Memorial Day weekend is.
Yeah, that culture is now intertwined throughout the program, having won 2 straight national titles. It seems like forever ago that Yale won the national championship up in Gillette. 2018. It's been all Virginia since.
You guys get the feeling that Coach Tiffany does a pretty good job of keeping egos out of this whole thing?
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, that doesn't seem to be an issue with this team. A team of stars.
And the upperclassmen do a good job with that, too. And over the years, we've seen, the role players on this team out of the upperclassmen, the captains, keeping everybody in check. Simmons.
He's dangerous behind the cage because, like I said before, he gets so close to the crease line that it creates pressure for a defender to deal with the back pipe and that net.
High school wide receiver with Donna School, known for his wheels back in high school. Left-hander, number 12 in white.
Tiffany wanted the reset of the shot clock, won't get it. Still 20 to shoot for Virginia. But he's trying to work clock up 9 goals. Garno tried to feed it inside. Ball goes wanting. Simmons picks it up. 4 to shoot. They're going to have to let something fly. He shuts. Does he know? He does not. Shot clock violation. That might be the first one we've seen all day. 11th turnover for Virginia. Look at that ride. That is relentless. That is brutal. And that's Matt Moore right in the middle of it. Oh, wow. That's high. That's going to bring a flag. And another one. This one late after the play. More flags fly in.
Yeah, I thought shots hit him high and then late. They might get him for 2.
No, I need to talk. All right, guys, here we go. Come on out. You're out. You're out over there. Here we go. There's 2 fouls in play, both against 26 White. White 26, cross-check, 1 minute. White illegal body check while players on the ground making contact with them. Another minute. That's 2 minutes. All release them. All release them.
Love that pause in between the calls. The challenge is to make a legal hit in lacrosse without delivering a blatant cross-check. Okay, that's a blatant cross-check, and then he rides it up underneath the chin and neck area.
Yeah.
And then there's the late hit.
That's where I have
Paul,
a problem.
you've got to swivel your hips, turn your hips like hockey, and deliver the hit with your shoulder and arm.
Yeah, he
can't
leads
go
with
in
the stick.
square. If you go in square, you cross-check. You got to swivel your hips.
He leads with the stick. And when you lead with the stick, too, a lot of times the stick will just kind of run through your shoulder and then get to your head. But then afterwards, he gives the little one more, which to me is a coachable moment.
That's a good battle of the end line. It's won by Syracuse.
Woo.
Two consecutive 1-minute penalties. So a big opportunity here for Syracuse. Tried that skip pass. Fortunate to get it through. Seabolt's got a couple. Quinn thought about taking the shot. He doesn't. This one whistled wide. Tyler Cordes gives chase. Freshman keeps it with Syracuse. Ferris. Nope. And Nunes snags that one right out of the air. An unforced error on the clear might give Syracuse another opportunity. Both teams with 45 shots on the day. They have been letting it rip. Ferris can't corral this pass. Nunes goes down.
This kid can play.
Absolutely. 13 saves.
He can play.
Now Zinn just runs away from the defense. Sam Alexo gives chase, but Zinn keeps his footing.
Kid floats.
And can run for days, too. If I ran that far, I'd have to take about 4 breaks in between.
You don't do cardio. You just eat protein and lift weights.
Correct. It's cardio enough for me to climb the steps here at Clockner this afternoon.
You know, we talk about teams being able to match up against Virginia because of Moore and Schellenberger. Georgetown might have been one of those teams. Right now, Georgetown's up 11-3 on the Irish. Notre Dame.
I think that Georgetown-Penn game last week was played at an extremely high level. Look at that.
Meanwhile, wow, in South Bend.
Yes.
Georgetown is for real.
I mean, Notre Dame's balanced as it gets coming into the season, right? You have that attack with the Kavanaughs and those midfielders and Dobson and Wheaton Jackaboys.
Nice catch and goal, man. Griffin Cook. Clark, even if Syracuse takes the L today on the road, Griffin Cook has showed himself this afternoon. There's no question about that.
Yeah, and you're seeing the confidence in 2 and Orange. He made the one mental mistake with the behind the back pass at 12-9 when the Orange were kind of feeling it a little bit, potentially making that run. But I love his energy and his aggressiveness. He's shooting right now with purpose. I have not seen that in the last year.
That's what I was going to ask you. You know, I know him as a change of direction feeder type player. I didn't know he had the pop in his stick from mid to outside range.
This is a big moment for Griffin Cook in terms of confidence. ACC play against the 2-time defending champs. They need him. When Owen Hiltz went down, who was going to be another playmaker along with Dordovic, along with Curry? Lucas Quinn, I think when he gets healthy, he's another option, but they had to get those pieces, right? Those other guys that can get separation. He showed you his ability to invert, spraying it from downtown now.
And you know the schedule is tough, not just the ACC schedule, but it doesn't get any easier for them right away. Army on Wednesday, you can see that game Wednesday afternoon on the ACC network in the Carrier Dome. Matt Moore loses his stick, falls in the crease. He's going to get called for that. We'll go the other way. Slow to get up a little bit.
One thing today about Virginia's offense, they got 19. They haven't really gotten their step-down game going. You know what I mean? It's been more of a feeds inside or unassisted goals.
That's a good point, because guys like Garno and Connor, we saw that last year. Garno right now hasn't done much. Connor is hurt. Those are the step-down guys that really could spray it from outside and stretch a defense.
How about the crowd here at Clocker showing their appreciation for that ride? Schellenberger, great look, and they finish it off.
I tell you, these fans are going berserk. They love transition lacrosse, banging on the metal bleachers, giving their riding midfielders energy, and they get the turnover at the midfield. They all come to their feet on this turnover. They love the swarming D right here. They're all up on their feet. And guess who? Noah Chismar finishes this one off in transition.
Jones. Woo! Jonas? It's keeping up with the Jonases now.
Try to keep up, whoever you are.
Stay ahead in the all-new Tundra.
Virginia by 9 here in the fourth quarter at Klockner. Gary Gate, his first year as the head coach at Syracuse. You see Army coming up 4:30 on Wednesday from the Carrier Dome in the ACC network. And it's going to be such an interesting dynamic, Clark, going forward with Gate and Petramala. The great player right there. There's Petro, coached Hopkins for so many years. How are they going to work together moving forward?
Well, I think they complement each other. I always think Gary Gate as ice. I think Dave Petramala as fire. That game, I was in 8th grade. It was 1989. Quint Kesnick in the cage, one of the great regular season games of all time. I think it was like 14-13, watching you get it done.
Huge crowd that day. I gave up 2 empty net goals in the first half of that game. So jacked, so excited,
you were running all over the place,
running around like a moron.
Yeah, okay? The crowd was amazing.
And I remember at halftime. But you know, the thing about Gary and David, they brought out the best in one another, having a worthy adversary. Okay, if not for Gary, I think David might have plateaued in college. But I saw 88 and 89. He knew that there was a rival out there that could match him.
Great
and
point.
That brought out his best. That's the beauty of sports.
Coach Petra will have his hands full this week. I'll tell you, the Army team is for real. They lost to Rutgers a week ago, but they have the pieces. Joe Alberishi's been there since 2006. This is his most senior-laden team. He's got like 19 seniors, and he has a superstar at attack in Brendan Nickturn. who, if you watch lacrosse long enough, he plays a lot like Rob Pennell. He's a thicker body. He's great above goal line extended. He's got the pass game and the shooting in terms of his dodging and creating. He is, I think, maybe the most underrated player in the country, to be honest with you.
The Black Knights also play defense and have an excellent goalie in Wyatt Schupler.
Yeah, that'll be a fun game to watch. Syracuse certainly remembers last year when Army put it on him at the beginning of the year. So it's always a good upstate New York rivalry. Shot clock winding down, and Virginia just happy to see it wind down, and Dixon throws it in the corner so they can set up their ride. Virginia, meanwhile, they've got Hopkins next Saturday, and then Thursday night ACC matchup, Virginia, North Carolina on the 10th.
That's going to be a lot of pressure for that Carolina defense. Don't you agree?
Ooh. Carolina close defense is where they're inexperienced. That and offensive midfield, but against Virginia, that potential Carolina weakness against the Virginia strength.
Yeah.
Woo.
Curry inside. Oh, hits the pipe. Unfortunate. Berkman gives chase. He'll keep possession for the Orange, but he gets pushed in the back. That's an easy call. Syracuse will try and finish it off. Now we'll get the call.
Saladay's made very many smart plays today. Yes. The chase into the shots, the sliding. He's a player you can win with. This one is a little, comes out of nowhere. I'm not sure what he was thinking. I guess he was expecting the player to turn, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Grayson's all effort, and he's like the smartest guy going.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about Petey LaSalle being a good high school football player. So was Saladay. I'm so impressed with his growth. I thought he was a question mark early in the season last year in terms of being exposed. He became an answer for Virginia. Down the stretch in the title run, he became one of their most valuable players. And he's brought that confidence over to 2022. And with the COVID year in 2020, he's got another year after this. I mean, he is a chess piece for this Virginia defense that has length, has experience now, and has the smarts of him.
And whether it's Fox or through the years, that they've always had good D-middies that were leaders on the team. And Saladay certainly promises to be that this year, don't you think?
Absolutely. I miss John Fox. I was hopeful that he would come back, but he graduated, got a job in New York City. As Matt Nunes comes to the bench and gets a big applause. These Wahoo fans like this freshman goaltender from the Woodlands, Texas.
Oh yeah,
for good reason. He's a special talent. He really is.
Rossell in net now for Virginia, but yeah, what a day he had.
Yeah, and we saw him against High Point, and down the stretch in that game, he was fantastic. But in his first ACC game against Syracuse, with this crowd, the confidence moving forward too. Right now, I think he knows. Okay, this is my job. I'm comfortable. It's me.
It's the first big game, though, right? I mean, this is the first game you look up and every seat's filled. You're playing a program with a lot of tradition.
Faced 49 shots, made 15 saves on the day.
You know, we could look at the score, too, 2011. I go back to the third quarter. It was 12-9. Syracuse was coming. You look at the shots. You look at how Nunes has played. There's hope for this Syracuse team. This Syracuse team, even in this defeat, early in the season, based on Owen Hiltz being injured, there are spots where they've exceeded expectations. I know you're looking at the score right now. It's 20-11. They've got some pieces here.
Curry lets it fly.
A little bit of a deceptive release. I thought he was going downstairs, and at the last second, he kind of snaps and lifts his wrists, and that ball comes up high.
Berkman checked by Parker. Rossell makes his first save of the day. 50th 20th shot of the day for Syracuse.
Matt Nunes, I listened to a podcast, Lax Goalie Rat. Matt Nunes was the guest on this podcast, but he talked highly of David Rozelle as a teammate, another goalie who's been most influential and most helpful to get Matt ready to play and start for the Virginia Cavaliers.
It's a
and
great
you think
point.
of that unselfishness, that aspect of teamwork, where one goalie who's competing with the other one is pointed out as the most influential, positive impact on Matt.
And I love that. And the goalie room reminds me like of a quarterback room, right? And the support, okay, the relationship between the starter and the backup. You know, at ESPN in football, I worked with Dan Orlovsky a couple of years ago. His relationship with Matthew Stafford, those years in Detroit, supporting him, being there for him, going through the mental reps. If they have that kind of relationship, you'll watch them. When a guy like Nunes comes off the field, he'll be dealing with his backup. They'll be talking about those things. And that is a powerful, powerful relationship.
You also saw from the position players for Virginia, when Rozelle made that first save, they all came over and gave him a pat on the head. Like, that's a big deal for them.
Oh, that guy's soaking heat in practice, too. I mean, that is a tough position to play.
With Bobby Gavin leaving, Rozelle's one shot away now.
Yep.
Final minute of play here from Klockner.
Virginia's scary, boys.
I think it's scary because they're nowhere near a finished product, yet they put up 20 today.
They did. And I think for Syracuse, we'll look back at this game and end this season. There's the knowns with Dordovic and Curry. I think the offensive success will be defined this season with guys like Lucas Quinn and Griffin Cook. Like those next layer of players are going to have to play at an elite level for this team to be successful in the ACC, and potentially they can.
And a test right away for Syracuse. As we mentioned, Kark and I will be calling that game on Wednesday when Army comes to the Carrier Dome. So another ranked team, this time out of conference for Syracuse, and another big test for Gary Gate, Dave Petramala, this young Syracuse Orange team. Today, it was all about the two-time defending champs. Virginia, in front of a great crowd here at Klockner, came out, forged an 8-1 lead early and never looked back. Cuse, Syracuse threatened. They got it down to 3 in the second half, but just too much Virginia.
A wonderful day to be with you guys, to see the crowd here, to watch these two programs, to see the Virginia's speed, Schellenberger and Moore, the skill on offense, and watch a rookie goalie in Matt Nunes. A great day for us.
Yeah, props to Petey LaSala, who answered the bell after 2 really tough outings a season ago against Jacob Fopp in Syracuse. He dominates the face-off X, he answers the bell, and he feeds the Virginia offensive beast.
11 different goal scorers for Virginia. 4 players with at least 3 goals. The superstars, the Schellenbergers, the Moores showed up. The role players, the players like Evan Zinn, Jack Simmons, the freshman Griffin Schutz, all contributing. You mentioned LaSala, and what a job in an ACC debut by goaltender Matthew Nunes. For Quinn Kestic and Paul Carcantera and our entire crew, I'm Chris Conner. Thanks for watching, everyone. Who's get the win?
Dean, that had to be one of the greatest ball games.